Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Want to give a shout out to all our veterans that listen, anybody in your family or friends. It seems like they're celebrating Veterans Day this year, multiple days, which makes perfect sense to me. I think tomorrow's actually Veterans Day, but I think they observed it yesterday, today, and Saturday. So just a shout out. Thank you to everyone who served, no question about it. I want to give also a shout out to the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club. I spoke to those folks last night. Good group of people. JC, they're right up your alley.
They are? Why is that?
You need to be a member of the Fighting Gator. They're the Fighting Gators now.
Yeah, that's insane.
They ain't just the damn Gainesville Gator Club. They're the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club.
And this was where again?
It's here in town.
Oh, so the one here, the local chapter. Yeah.
Wow. Not the quarterback club. Right. I said the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club.
FGTC. What was the most probing question that was asked of you last night?
What would you guess if we were playing a silly game, like a game show?
QB, are we gonna hire? Who's gonna be our offensive coordinator?
That was the first question. I interrupted the guy right before he even finished his sentence.
Well,
I said, buddy, offense ain't our problem.
Did everybody start clapping when you said that?
No, a lot of them agree. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, it is a fun group. There was a time I was a member, and I think that was when Coach Spurrier and Ron Zook were leading this program. I was a member of the FGTC.
You were.
Yeah, and we had.
I think you need to rejoin, JC.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I can do it. Did you see our friend Gene down there?
Gene is not part of the Fighting Gator Touchdown.
He's on the quarterback club. That's right.
It's a different clientele.
It's a different clientele.
I'm telling you, those folks are right up your alley.
What does that mean, QB? I don't understand.
Where you enjoyed the Harmonic Woods tailgate?
I loved it.
Okay.
Loved
it. These are those kind of folks. They're good people.
Yeah, man. I'm all for it. I love enthusiasm. I love energy. I love positive vibes. I do. But I also love to be honest about things and objective and not subjective. But I do think that this game with LSU tomorrow, Jaden Daniels will likely play. He practiced on Wednesday and Thursday from what I heard. I don't know what Scott told you yesterday. I kind of missed half of that interview because I had to do something. But whether he plays or not, he'll be effective. But I do think that 15.5 points is a lot of points, man. So I know people aren't interested in covering spreads. That's not what this is about. And that's okay, fine. I'm not trying to bring up something like that, but it just shows you how much respect LSU gets or how little respect Florida's getting right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're a 2-touchdown underdog to Georgia too. I mean, it sounds about right to me. Jaden Daniels is going to play. Yeah. I'm concerned if he takes a shot. I remember my concussion. I was out several weeks. And that was back before they even did all the concussion protocol. So I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, Brian Kelly put him back in the game after he got hit by Dallas.
Well, that's not Brian Kelly. That's the damn doctors. He cleared whatever the protocol was, I guess. But he only went in for like one play, and then they brought him back out, right?
He had to come out, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, if you missed it last night in a barn burner, which I get every sports channel or every channel there is, except I refuse to pay for a prime NFL game. Right. The Bears beat the Panthers, JC.
They did, yeah.
In a barn burner. It was 19-16.
It was a typical Big Ten game, typical Big Ten West game. Maybe the Bears will win the Big Ten West. You know how bad might. Do you know how bad the offense is in the Big Ten West and basically in the Big Ten in general? But in the Big Ten West, it is so bad the totals for these games are in the 30s, and not just Iowa. I'm not talking about just Iowa. The total in the Northwestern Wisconsin game is just above 40. That is putrid. That is just like people forgot how to get 10 yards in that part of the world. I can't imagine in today's day and age when all the rules are set up for offense, QB, how you can be so pathetic getting 10 yards. It's just frightening to me. And so when I hear about Michigan and Ohio State and how damn great they are, I think to myself, nobody can score on them. This is garbage. This is so garbage. And I worry about Penn State. Drew Aller looked so bad against Ohio State. He had absolutely no idea what he was doing in that game. And I have a feeling that might be the case again this Saturday. I hate it. Right. I'm rooting for Penn State, but I don't know.
Michael on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, says, thank you for your recognition. Please support the veterans that jumped in at Key West and are walking to Washington State for the fight against veteran suicide. They're currently a couple days from Tallahassee. Good gracious. I wonder how long that's going to take.
A month, a couple months maybe. I mean, a month.
So from Key West all the way up to the state of Washington. I guess that's as far as you could possibly go in the United States, huh?
The continental U.S., yeah.
That is nuts.
But you got to go across the Rockies. Yeah, think about that elevation.
Well, it's not like they just got a back. I don't know anything about this. This is fascinating. I want to look into it. I'm sure, a lot of times when people do these type of things, they have kind of like the paramedics kind of riding along while they're walking, or maybe they drive up and meet. I just can't. I don't know how many guys are doing this, and it is awesome. They can't just put their backpack on and say, we'll see you in a couple months, because there's no way they can survive without help.
Oh, right? I'm sure there's hotels, restaurants. I mean, it's a trek. It's for attention. They're trying to make awareness.
Right. No, I get all that. I'm curious how many people are doing it and how they're doing it. So I'm gonna have to. I didn't know anything about it. Also last night, when I got home from the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club, I turned on a little bit of the Louisville game. Louisville was up 14-0. JC, did you see this game?
I did not see it.
All right, Louisville was dominating the game, 14-0 when I rolled in.
Yeah.
I grabbed something to eat. Virginia drives down in the third quarter, scores. They have a really talented young quarterback. Looks like Johnny Manziel. He's from St. Pete, by the way.
Yes.
True freshman. They score to make it 14-7. The very first play on the next series, Louisville ran like a naked bootleg, one of your favorite plays. He rolls out. He tries to hit the crosser. This linebacker comes out of nowhere and jumps and picks it, runs it back. 14-all.
14-all.
Right. Louisville goes 3 and out. They punt. They run a tall sweep, and I have not heard the results from this kid. They had to bring the stretcher and take him to the hospital because of a collision. But he got hit so hard, he fumbled. It bounced out to a receiver who picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was the craziest change of events in like 5 plays I've ever seen in a football game.
Right.
Hopefully the kid is okay. But Louisville, I don't know if they would have lost that game, if they would still be going to the ACC championship game, but they are now. They will face Florida State, and I'm telling you, people, they can beat Florida State.
They can beat Florida State, huh?
Yes.
Well, maybe. I mean, well, look, Florida State knows, and I think everybody knows.
I talked to 2 people yesterday that cover the ACC. Not what I do, but I mean, actually work in the ACC, and they agree with me. Florida State has not beaten or looked good against any opponent outside of the first half against LSU this year, the first game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, they had some they were sleepwalking against Boston College. They didn't really do much against NC State. I think Clemson statistically was better, except on the scoreboard. Florida State also, I don't know if folks know this, but I would think they do here in Gainesville, is that historically FSU just doesn't come in here and roll Florida. It doesn't matter what the situation is. They always seem to have mud in their shoes against the Gators here. It's a tight game. And I hope Florida can play well in these next 2 weeks leading up to that FSU game. That's going to be important, I think, because I want these kids to be engaged for that game and have hope. But they got to get one more win. They've got to get bowl eligible. I don't know when the last time Florida wasn't bowl eligible. So
it was a few years ago when we went 4-8 when Muschamp was the coach.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's right. It was about 10 years ago. So, in fact, I think it was 9 or 10 years ago. But that's correct. But that is rare. I mean, it's very rare. And man, these next 3 games, does any so on your travels this week, you had a lot of trips to take, I think, is what you were telling me. And was the overall mood a little bit more upbeat, or was it kind of solemn? What was it like in these
What are we
groups?
talking about? What was your question?
Well, when you traveled to all these clubs that you talked to this week, I mean, you did a couple, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, they're fans, JC. They want to win, and I mean, but most of the time they're there to have a good time.
Good.
They don't live and
Yeah.
die Gator football. Life does move on whether you win or lose. So
Really?
they were fine.
Hmm.
Gator basketball. I mean, that's my approach. I think so many people get so caught up in it. Um,
Yeah.
there's nothing we can do about it. Just like I said, there's nothing you can do about politics but vote. Um, Gators play Virginia tonight in Charlotte in basketball. I believe
Oh,
that game
that's
is
right.
televised. It should be a good one.
That's right.
We got a text on here from Justin on the Titan More text line. Justin from Virginia. He says, QB, I've heard you mention several times that outside the HBC and Urban Meyer, we've been very mediocre program. I totally agree that's been Florida's history. However, I must say those guys showed us that championships can be won at UF, and you won't know who the next great head coach is going to be until you have him. But I don't think you
Yeah.
stop looking for one until you get one. I totally agree with that. Billy still
Right.
could be that guy. I agree. But if not, we must keep trying. There are a few programs in the country that can reach and stay on the top, and I firmly believe Florida is one of those programs. No, I agree. I mean, but my point to that whole thing, when I talked about Alabama, I talked about Georgia, you can talk about Auburn, you can talk about LSU. It's those coaches, either they moved on somewhere else and had a lot of success, so they're damn good coaches. I mean, just use our two. Coach Spurrier did something at South Carolina that will never ever be done again. They won the SEC East and went to the SEC championship game, but they had 3 straight years of winning 11
Yeah.
games. Think about that.
Yes. Yeah.
South Carolina won't win 11 games ever again in 1 year.
I doubt it. I doubt it. They just can't recruit there. And the thing too is QB, every one of those programs you mentioned, every one of them, LSU, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, every one of them have had dry spells of at least 5 to 10 years at some point in their history. They have. They have had dry spells. They have been mediocre at best. Every single one of those programs has been mediocre at best. And the year after Gene Chizik took Auburn to the national championship game, I think they went 4-8. They lost 8 SEC games. Gene Chizik. So it can be that way sometimes. But I think the important part is how teams adapt to the new landscape that involves NIL, that involves the transfer portal, and how coaches can maneuver and operate in that landscape, because that's how it's going to have to happen now. It's just not going to change. It's not going back the way it was. The players are going to get more involved even in revenue now. There's no question about that. We're going to have one day we'll probably have collective bargaining, QB. Honestly, believe that.
Yeah.
So I think that that's how you have to roll now, and you got it. You're just competing against the other schools. They all have to do the same thing you do. I'll tell you another thing.
What?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
1966 HEC beers available at Spurs Gridiron Grill, Gator Games in the Swamp, and select retail outlets. Crisp American Lager, 1966 HBC beers. Speaking with JC on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. Chris on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says this veteran walk could be dangerous. Winter is coming in the Northwest. Godspeed. Like I said, I think they got to have somebody following them along. All right, this Facebook Live here, I got to get to this one. Nor says, brought to you by our good friends at Meldon Law.
Who's this?
Nor says, let me find it. It went away. Where the hell is it? Here it is. And Florida plays on the ACC network tonight. He says, Coach Prime and Colorado Buffalo got robbed at the UCLA game at the Rose Bowl in California. Thieves stole Coach Prime's gold chains. Thieves also robbed UCLA locker rooms, and Dion is asking the NCAA to reimburse them for their jewelry. All right, let me chime in on that. Most football teams, now, I'm not a jewelry guy. I used to wear a watch. Wearing watches drive me crazy too. But I'd wear a watch and stuff when I was in the pros, and they had this big trunk where everybody would take the equipment manager. You have your own little bag with your number on it. You put all your jewelry in and they lock it up. If it gets stolen, that's your fault because you didn't lock it up. I believe colleges do that too. So either maybe Colorado with all their fancy jewelry they wear, maybe they need to buy a trunk and lock that crap up. But the NCAA, he's clueless if he thinks the NCAA is going to give him $1. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Yeah, and neither will UCLA, I don't guess.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a sign that says not.
What they need to do is not wear the jewelry to a damn football game. It's simple.
Not responsible for personal items. Thank you for coming. Yeah. I mean, look, when I go to a game and I'm in the bathroom and some guy rips my watch off my arm and runs away, I got to call cops. That's the only thing I can do. School's not going to pay for that.
No, Ted says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, do you think Billy needs to hire experienced analysts and with significant coaching background? It seems like yes, I've already stated that. None of them have any experience.
Well, I mean, they got so many people over there. How do you keep up with all of this? It's crazy to me. I don't know.
No, the way I keep up with it is that if I don't know who you are, that means you have no coaching experience for the most part, right?
Yeah, that's about right.
It's no different than if a football player shows up, you don't know who he is because he ain't never played.
Yeah, or if a coach shows up in your gear on your sideline and you try to tell the media that you don't know who that was standing on your sideline in your triple wash. I mean, and then here's Michigan talking about, well, we need due process. That's bull crap. What did Connor Stallion's due process come? When did he get due process? They fired him. What about his damn due process? So they're as guilty as sin. I really hope Penn State can play with them this weekend. I don't know what they are, QB. Everybody says they're so damn good. They're so this, they're so that. They have played absolutely nobody.
Yeah, they played the worst schedule in America.
The best team they played is Nevada, Las Vegas, who is 7-2. Pretty good. But that's the best team they've played. Nevada, Las Vegas. It's incredible how weak their schedule was. And when they suspended Harbaugh for 3 games to begin the season, it was a vacation. They didn't need him. And I still think something's going to happen to him before the season is over, the regular season. But Michigan's strategy is to delay and distract and make this go away until the summer or next year when somebody doesn't care and something will come out and it's all over anyway because Harbaugh will probably be coaching the Bears. So, who knows? But I don't think this business about, they're going to be penalized or punished before the end of the season. That's not going to happen. There's too much money involved in Michigan's brand for that conference. They're not going to do anything to them. Even though the schools, 13 other schools are pleading for the commissioner to take charge of this issue. They're not going to do it to Michigan. Now, if it was Minnesota, 5 and 6 Minnesota, something might happen, but not Michigan. They're too important a brand, and that game's too big. And they need Michigan in that conference because if Ohio State, that's it. That's all you got. Those two. That's it.
Oh, my comments. Where'd they go?
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. All right, we got some text here, JC. Take a deep breath and just listen for a minute.
Okay. Don't forget our picks either, by the way.
We have plenty of time for the picks.
Okay. I'm taking a deep breath.
We got 941 here on the Titan MR text line says, bear with me. I usually agree with you about throwing the ball, but there's no way we beat LSU throwing the ball. Getting in track meet with them results in a loss, especially if Daniels is playing. We run for 180 to 200 and keep their offense on the sideline. We have a shot. I agree with that. Have to shorten the game. I agree. Track meet 49-21 is a loss. Running the ball and clock gives us a chance. I agree. Jalen Daniels is the best player in football. He goes 2025 Gator Sports. Athletic Director, Coach Steve Spurrier. Assistant Athletic Director, Kevin Carter. Head football coach, Kerwin Bell. Offensive coordinator, Shane Matthews. O-line coach, Phil Troutwine. Defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn. That would never happen. He's not a Gator, though. He's not a Gator. Why the hell would you leave the Dallas Cowboys?
No, you wouldn't.
DB coach, Marquand Manuel. Special teams, Ron Zook. Defensive analyst, Charlie Strong. Offensive analyst, Bubba Spurrier.
This is the theme I've been pounding the table about, man. Get Florida people in this program. Get them back. Pay them the money. The problem is you can't afford to pay $55 million to a guy you just hired. You can't afford it. He's not going anywhere.
Daryl says on the Titan MR text line, good morning, guys. I am mentally burned out on some of our fan base wanting an OC. I agree. This is from, don't know who. Oh, Kevin from Punta Gorda. He says the kid from UVA regained all mobility and all extremities. That's good. That was a vicious blow to the head.
Thank
And
goodness.
Chris from Cottondale, he says,
There
I
he
will
is.
no longer.
That's my guy. That's my guy, Chris.
He says, I will no longer call your partner by his name, but will now call him JR, a la Seth Hart, since he keeps calling me Chris from Cottonwood when he knows it's from Cottondale.
I know.
Disrespectful, and I will disrespect him until he has the proper respect. Will not be positive in regards to your partner until he reciprocates. Is he talking about Seth calls you JR?
He did the first time he met me. It wasn't anything big. I didn't care. It was also honest mistake. Honest to God, Chris, I can't remember if it's Cottonwood or Cottondale. And you're right. That's my fault. I should know. But he's the one. QB's the one reading these things. I could look. I guess I could look at them just as easily.
No, you can't look at the text comes straight through an app on my phone.
No. Okay, the text. All right. I thought he was like on the website there. Well, all right, Chris. That's fair.
All right, Matthew on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says Kirby Smart has lost 15 games in 8 seasons. Napier has lost 11 in less than 2 years and heading to 14. And Billy is the guy with a question mark. Look, you're comparing apples and oranges. It's not even a fair comparison, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? I mean,
yeah.
Kirby Smart took over a team that the previous year had won 9 or 10 games.
No, there's no doubt.
The programs were totally different.
The cupboard was not fair when Kirby got there.
But I would say this. I am so tired of people comparing like this coach's first 2 years against that coach over there's 2 years. You cannot compare. It's just too hard to compare, especially when you're going outside the league and comparing coaches.
A lot of times people are just making the point that it can now happen sooner than it used to in the old days when you had to recruit for 3 years. With the transfer portal and the NIL today, you can transfer your team overnight. But Kirby, one thing he did that Mark Richt couldn't do is that he won the big one. Now, at first, they lost to Alabama on 2nd and 26, but he came back and won it, the national title against Alabama a month after he lost to them. So, I mean, he's won the big games at Georgia.
Was the 2nd and 26 the championship game or the SEC game?
No, that was the Natty.
Oh, that's what I thought. So he could take. He realistically could have 3 national titles going for his 4th in 8 years. That's nuts. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they love it. But see, and I agree with everything they did at Georgia. They brought Georgia people in there, and that's the way you do it. And I think when you're struggling, that's the way you do it. Doesn't mean everybody has to do it that way. But I think Florida had so many Hall of Fame names, so many greats have come through here. Get them involved again. Get them back in it. And folks just don't remember these days, the 80s, the mid-80s, when Kerwin was playing. He was a leader of a team that had no clue what was going on in the 80s, man. And then in 84 and 85, they were great. They were great. Ricky Nattiel, you couldn't cover him. I know where he is right now. I could call Ricky and say, hey, Ricky, how would you like for $1 million to go coach the wide receivers? He'd probably do it. Or 800,000, whatever. I'd break the bank to get this program back because it will pay itself back. I promise you it will. You have to, and they have been invested. Billy's getting paid a lot of money, man. They're not cheap over there. But
all right, Brian says here on Facebook Live, and then we'll get to our picks. He says, growing annoyed with dadgummit, this Facebook thing, man. I start reading and it goes away. I don't know how to keep it from moving. Do not move. Growing annoyed with the demand for an OC. UF fans are so focused on offense, they can't see defense as a glaring problem. Calling for an OC is lazy and uninformed analysis of the problem. We can score enough points. Billy's offense is a good system, as good or better than any OC we would hire. Yeah. I'm with you, Shane, that defense is the problem. Yeah, I mean, again, I told the people last night, and I think I said on the show yesterday, people get upset when we have to punt. If you watch every football game, there's 3 or 4 punts in a game. That's just how – I mean, you don't score every time you touch the ball.
No, I mean, remember the old saying, if every drive ends in a kick, it's good.
You damn right it is. Good. It's very good.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, field goal, extra
point. But the problem is when we punt it to them, we know they're going to score about 4 plays. So that's kind of a problem.
But, special teams has been an issue here too, folks. Let's just like these guys on special teams
But as I've said, and I've beat a dead horse, Special teams is a collective effort of every assistant coach, every coach. So, all right, JC, let's get to our Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Go visit them at peachlanddental.com. We got any good games to pick this week? I haven't really looked.
Oh, week 11.
I find out about the games whenever you tell me what the spread is.
Yeah, well, listen, I know you've got a job on Saturday. That's what you do, and you're traveling on Friday.
Well, that has nothing to do with during the week, JC. I just don't sit around on my couch or my back porch and look at who's playing who like you do.
Well, I love college football, but let's start with the ACC this week. And the team that I think is on the absolute rise, and it's not Clemson just because they beat somebody last week, and to go 5-4. It's Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech is showing me something. They've got some offense. I love this Haynes King kid. I like their coach a lot. They're catching 14.5 at Happy Valley, South Carolina, and I'm taking them. Damn it, give me Georgia Tech. Ramblin' Wreck and a hell of an engineer. Ramblin' Wreck.
Wait, Georgia Tech is playing who?
Clemson. In the Happy Valley, South Carolina. Happy Valley, South Carolina.
All right. That line makes no sense. I'll take the Clemson Tigers. If your team was so good, they wouldn't be getting 14.5.
Your beloved Clemson Tigers. You'll never hate them. Here's another one. Miami at Florida State, leg 14 to the Canes. Nobody's talking about this game. It's incredible.
I think Miami's going to keep this game very close. Very close.
You just don't like FSU.
JC,
Miami
what
sucks.
makes you think FSU is that good? I just want somebody to tell me.
Well, they haven't lost. I mean, that's one thing.
That is true. But if you watch them,
I watch.
And like I told you, I talked to 2 people that all they do is ACC football.
Yeah,
they are not impressed. They don't think they don't think if Florida State runs the table, and there's 4 other undefeated teams, if that's possible, that they'll get left out because of the ACC.
How will there be 4 other undefeated teams? That's not possible. So first of all,
I guess what they said that like if you have a 1-loss Alabama or a 1-loss Texas or a 1-loss Oregon, that they could easily go ahead of Florida State in that situation because of their league is so bad.
Well,
I'm just going by what they tell you.
Then they must not think their conference is any good. And
it's terrible. Have you watched the ACC?
It's horrible. I think it's better than the Big Ten West, and I think it's better than
the Big Ten West. They need to realign that because I'm glad you brought that up because I screenshot this. Listen to this.
Okay.
So the lowest over-unders in college football over the past 30 years. Okay. Yeah. Listen to these games. Listen to these games.
Go ahead.
No, I'm getting ready to give you stats. You just said something. I'm giving facts. I'm about facts, JC. 2022, Iowa and Kentucky, 31.5. 2022, Iowa, Minnesota, 31.5. Army and Air Force, 31.5. 2023, Iowa, Minnesota, 30.5. Iowa Northwestern, 30.5. Iowa's playing Rutgers this week. The total is 28.5. But listen, out of all those games I just mentioned, every one of them went under.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, that is hard to believe. It really is. And Iowa's basically part of all of that. It's too bad they've got a great defense. And they are going to win that side of the Big Ten, and they are going to play either Michigan or Ohio State. Believe it or not, we're going to be subjected to Iowa in the Big Ten championship.
Real quick, we got a text from Kevin on the Titan More text line. Serious question.
Okay.
What are our booth people doing? What are they analyzing? What are they telling Billy or Armstrong? The serious answer is, I don't know. I don't even know who's in the booth. This gentleman says, tell JC it's Death Valley, not Happy Valley in Clemson.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know what it is. I'm being a little, what's the word for it? I'm facetious. I don't call it Death Valley. Not when you've lost 4 times. There's nothing dying in Clemson, South Carolina, except Clemson. Currently, Utah at Washington. Now Utah can play defense. The Huskies can play offense. They can't play defense. So what do we got here? 9.5 points. By the way, I took Florida State because you took Miami. Washington -9 against Utah. What do you got there? A little Pac-12 action for you.
I'm going to take the Utah. I don't think Utah's going to win the game, but they're going to control the game. And Washington has been struggling a little bit. I mean, they're undefeated,
defensively.
but I saw somewhere they said that, Washington and Oregon are going to meet up again, JC.
Yeah.
That Oregon is going to be like a 10-point favorite in the game.
Yeah. Well, I've been pounding the table about the Ducks, dude, for 2 weeks. That's the team in the Pac-12.
But if you look at Oregon's schedule,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't. I think the only team they've beaten with a winning record is I don't think they have. That's what it is. They lost to Washington, but I don't think they've beaten a team with a winning record.
Well, I love what Lanny's doing. I like their physical. The Ducks have never been a physical team. I think he's changing that, and I think they can play defense. They've got the Southern California Trojans, just complete disarray, but they're laying 15.5. Is that too many points to lay to a team that can score points? And you think Caleb Williams is going to be into it? What do you think?
Yeah, I'll take the Trojans. They're going to lose, but I'll take them getting the points.
Okay, I kind of like that.
So, JC, tell me, I think Oregon's a good team, but you tell me right here who they've beaten that's worth the darn.
All right.
Portland State.
No.
Texas Tech. Hawaii. Colorado. Stanford. They lost to Washington. They beat Wazoo. And they beat Utah. Utah's a solid team, but Utah can't score. And they beat Cal.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
that's where I just saw some of the so-called experts saying, Oregon's got one loss, but they've beaten nobody.
And I get it, but neither has Michigan and neither has Ohio State. Notre Dame does not count.
Neither has Florida State.
Notre Dame went to Happy Valley, South Carolina, got beat. Okay. So, they suck.
JC, we got people here asking, are you wearing a Sewanee Bulldog hat?
Oh, I do like the Sewanee Bulldogs, but that would be green. This is blue, and this is for Pennsylvania State University, who's looking for a big win against the cheaters from Michigan. And I do mean the cheaters, because that's what they are. And I hope Ohio State runs them out of the building. I usually root for them against Ohio State, not this year. Screw Michigan. No, I got Penn State +4. I know it's a bad pick, but give me Penn State +4.
I'm rooting for Pennsylvania State as well.
Yeah, Pennsylvania State's got to shake up the order of things so we can have some interest on Tuesday nights on that goofy ESPN show. So, by the way, we both took USC. We're both taking Pennsylvania State, right? You're going to take them +4.5?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. The Pennsylvania State University. It's what it says right there, the other Happy Valley. Vandy at Scar. Now, Vandy is still somehow in the SEC. I've tried my best to get them the hell out of the SEC. Every time they have a home game, the other team has more fans at the stadium. It's a crap football program. It has no business in this league. But some people would make the case that South Carolina has no business in this league either. But anyway, South Carolina can't play women's basketball. They're damn good at that. So I'll take South Carolina. I'm never betting on Vandy again. They're not cut. They suck. I hate them.
Are they playing in Nashville?
No, it's in Columbia.
Oh, yeah. What is the line?
14.
Yeah, I'll take Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina, it's just been a disappointing year for both these teams. But Vandy's always disappointing. There's nothing good ever.
I don't know why people are disappointed in South Carolina. I knew they weren't going to have a good year. I'm telling you, if you win 6 games at South Carolina, maybe 7, you've had a hell of a year.
They had a great finish last year, dude. They beat Clemson in Happy Valley.
But supposedly they had the damn signals. That's why.
Here's a good game. We got a good game here. Finally, a good game in the Southeastern Conference, which a lot of folks up north are thinking our conference isn't that good. Tennessee at Missouri. Missouri getting the 2 points at home. They're getting points at home against the Vols. Somebody's got confidence in Joe Milton. I got to
give me the more physical football team, and I'll take the team in black and gold.
Yeah, the Missouri Tigers. I'm going to pull for Tennessee here. I hate it because I want them to go into the Georgia game with a little momentum next week. So Tennessee at Missouri +2. I think Missouri will win, but I'm going to pick Tennessee just to hope. Arkansas is laying 2 after their startling win against the Florida Fighting Gators. Arkansas is laying 2 against Auburn. Auburn's won a few games, but they've got 4 conference losses. They're not that good either. And don't give me this crap about, Alabama better be careful in Auburn. Auburn's god-awful. But
Auburn's terrible on offense. I like Arkansas.
I did too.
Only because they're at home. That's the only reason. I think both these teams stink.
Yeah, that's right. Here's a good one. Line's gone up. It started out the week at 9.5. Georgia was laying 9.5. It's already up to 11. Folks are pounding the dogs here against Mississippi. I'm really like you. We're going to root for Mississippi here, but it's hard to see them winning in Athens. If this game was in Oxford, maybe it'd be a more exciting game. But I think in Athens, there's just no chance.
Physicality will take over. I don't think Ole Miss has a chance. Speaking of that, we do have a text on the Titan Mark text line from William. He wanted our thoughts on I thought this came out a couple of weeks ago, but it's all over the news, all over Twitter about Lane. Did you hear that recording he had with the kid that he kicked off the team because of mental health?
Well, I read about it on Twitter this morning, on X this morning.
Yeah, I saw something about it like months ago, and then it came out again yesterday. I mean, it's terrible. There's no other way to deny it. I don't know why the kid's recording it. First of all, that's weird to me, but it does not look good for Lane. So I like the Georgia Bulldogs to. The game would be more enticing and more interesting, I think, if it was in Oxford.
Yeah, that's right.
Between the hedges, I think they give. I think. Yeah, they're way too physical for Ole Miss.
They are, but here's the thing: things will disappear in Mississippi. That's true. That's controversial. If Lane Kiffin were to pull the shocker here, funny things happen in Mississippi. Just know that. Funny things happen in Alabama and Louisiana, by the way. Funny things. But Mississippi is getting 11, so I'm going to take the points because
I'll take the dogs.
You're going to take Georgia. Your mother is rolling over right now. She's so upset with you.
My dad probably too, but
yep. Bill's not happy with you either. Alabama at Kentucky, 10 points. Now, the last time Alabama played them, I think was 2014 or 15. I actually went to that game in Kentucky, in Lexington. It's when I first saw Keeneland, the great racetrack, the horse track by the airport. And Kentucky's got a beautiful campus. This is a noon game, though. And Alabama's going to come out in the first half very slow. They're going to be sleepwalking. And then in the second half, Kevin Steele's going to rip them a new one in the locker room. Nick's going to say his 2 cents, and they'll come out and outscore Kentucky by 24 points. So I'm going to lay the 10 just because I think
I'll go against you just because I think this is going to be a dogfight. I don't know why. I think because Alabama coming off their win against LSU, I think Devin Leary's played much, much better the last 2 weeks. Yes. He's going to need to throw the football. Kentucky's due to play somebody tough, right? Like a big guy. I mean, they didn't show up against Georgia. Being at home, I think Alabama wins, but I'll take them getting the points.
It's a tough game. It's a tough game for Alabama and Ole Miss. If they win and somehow Kentucky pulls the shocker in Lexington, Ole Miss is still alive in the SEC West. But if Ole Miss loses or if Alabama wins, the West is over. And we already talked about Florida, LSU minus 15. That's just going to be too hard for me to I can't comment. Let's go with the NFL real quick. NFL, San Francisco at Jacksonville. This is a great game.
Are you going to this game, JC?
I'm going to probably give my friend Greg my tickets so that he can have 4. We had a deal.
Make sure you sell them to him. Don't give them to him.
Well, no. I'm definitely not going to hand him over. He's going to pay me the face value. But
what is the face value of an NFL ticket?
I could get a hell of a lot more money with 49er fans in town. 49ers travel. They bring fans everywhere. They're a great fan base. Great fan base.
JC, what is the face value of an NFL ticket today?
I think the tickets, well, it depends on where you buy them, obviously. This is a club level seat, so I think I want to say it's like $175, but I could be wrong with that.
I remember in the NFL, I basically – did we have cell phones my entire career? I think we did. I think my first few years there were no cell phones. But once we get a cell phone, everybody wants to go to a damn NFL game. Yeah. I wouldn't answer their call because – we don't get comp tickets. NFL players do not get comp tickets like in college.
Wow.
So let's just say the face values are $80 and you got 10 people who want to come, that's $800. It's going to come out of your check. Yeah. And they think, nobody offers to pay for them because they think you get them free. So I used to turn my phone off.
I don't blame you. I'm taking Jags.
So JC, if you ever call for tickets, I didn't answer your call on purpose.
You got me tickets to the Super Bowl. I'll never.
Well, you paid for those.
I know, but you still got them. How hard is it just to get? I mean, thank God Cade McNown. Jags +3 is where I'm going with this, and I think San Francisco.
I like the Jags.
Too many injuries in San Francisco. Jags coming off a bye week, fresh and daisies. fresh like daisies. Detroit, I picked this game. I'm skipping the damn Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm tired of them. But how about your Lions laying 3 on the road in Los Angeles against the Chargers? I don't. This line doesn't make sense to me. I'm taking the Chargers, getting 3 at home. To me, they've got as much talent as anybody.
They do. They find ways to lose games though.
They sure do.
Frustrating.
They sure do.
I got to stick with my Detroit Lions.
Dolphins are off this week. A special game here is a very good physical AFC North game. Do you know that every team in the AFC North, if the playoffs started today, would qualify for the playoffs? Every one of them, all 4 of them. Cleveland at Baltimore. You've got Watson, who's healthy. You've got a Cleveland defense that is nasty. But the Ravens are beating the hell out of everybody they play. And they are laying 6.5. And to me, in the NFL, that is just too many points to a good team. So I'm taking Cleveland.
That is a lot. I'm going to go opposite you just for the hell of it. I'll take the Ravens are home, obviously, right?
Yes, it's in Baltimore. Yes.
Yeah.
Bonus games, Oklahoma. These are fishy lines, but I just got to mention them. You know, these are called garage plays. Since I already lost the house, I now live in a garage. So I'm going to put my garage on the line here. The next thing, if I lose my garage, is my golf clubs. But
no, we'll put you in a shed out back.
Garage plays. Oklahoma State laying 2 against UCF. UCF has won 1 game in the Big 12. The Cincinnati, Houston, UCF, BYU experiment in the Big 12 has been an abject failure. All those teams are having an awful run in the Big 12. But Oklahoma State is playing as well as anybody. They are number 2 in the league. They will play the Texas Longhorns if they win out, which they should. Oklahoma State -2 against Central Florida. Give me the Cowboys with Ollie Gordon running up and down the field. And then there's another garage game. Southern Methodist, the Ponies are laying 17 to North Texas up there in Denton. They'll get on I-35 and come down to Dallas, and SMU will blow them out. Take Southern Methodist, take Oklahoma State, lay the number, and go under Northwestern, Wisconsin, 42.5. I don't care. Northwestern, Wisconsin, trash football on the offensive side of it. Go under 42.5. I hate unders.
JC, explain to me the
do it anyway.
That Oklahoma State line. It makes no sense.
I can't. It's 2.5. It's 2.5. And I don't think anybody's hurt. I don't think Oklahoma State's missing anybody. I looked at it. There's no injury report. Ollie Gordon is one of the big names running the football right now, college football. Central Florida's 1-4, 1-5 in the league. The hell if I know. I don't know. But
you don't roll into the bounce house and come out with a win, I guess.
Well, somebody has, because they're 1-5 in the league, or 1-4. Somehow somebody's escaped the bounce house. Is that where the Jags are going to play, by the way, when they start wrecking ball? Because it's Florida, Gainesville, and Orlando, from what I've heard. It's going to be here. It's going to be there. It's going to be in England.
I don't know why. I mean, playing at Camping World makes more sense to me, but I don't know.
It's an awful area. Boy, is it bad there. They put a stadium.
Right, JC,
idiots.
Good work on the picks, on the Peachland Dental picks, and we'll see how it goes. We'll talk about it on Monday.
Hang in there, Gator fans. Hang in there, man. It's LSU. It's a rival game. Anything can happen. Daniels may not be 100%. And listen, LSU can't stop anything. They can't stop. They can't cover. No. So it's Graham Mertz. I really think Graham Mertz is gonna have a big day. 300 yards passing. Let's go for that.
He should. We got to throw it to our good fast guys. All right, JC. As JC joins us on the Tight Number Hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. We'll take a quick timeout, come back. I got a lot of stuff to get to. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Duffield Home Improvements for your window, siding, and roofing needs. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing, Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Thursday, November the 16th, come celebrate the release of our Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Lugo's Risky Rum. This exclusive release features a special spread of our farm-to-table food, rum cocktails, raffles, and a meet and greet with me. Each ticket includes a bottle of Spurrier's Single Barrel Select Risky Rum. And I'll sign the bottle if you'd like. So get your ticket before they sell out at spurriers.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete is a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. It's always fun doing our Peachland Dental picks. I don't even know who we're picking or the games are until JC gives them to us. Somebody just sent me this text. This is somebody, oh gosh, this is from, I don't know who this is from, but it looks like it's from a chat site. It says, this morning, the University of Florida Board of Trustees met with Scott Strickland and the president to discuss future of Billy Napier. Majority are pushing for him to be fired this season. Oh, and they said the list of candidates is Butch Jones. Now, we know that's a joke, but thanks for the text. There's no way we're hiring Butch Jones, people. So anyway, like I said, Gators play tonight, and basketball should be a good one against Virginia. See where we stack up, although it's game 2, it's hard to tell. This is a doubleheader in Charlotte where the Hornets play. Gators and Cavs play the first game, and I think South Carolina and Tech play game 2. Andy wants to know, do we know if Andy Jean is 100% playing tomorrow? I have no idea, Andy. You know just as much as I do. I hope he plays every game. Y'all know how I feel about speed. I like speed. Game changers. Guys that can take a slant and go the distance. Alan asked JC if he had tickets to the FSU game. He wanted to buy them. He doesn't have season tickets to the Florida game. He has season tickets to the Jags. So I'm curious, is the Florida State game sold out? Does anybody know? Alan on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says he's tuned in late. He wants to know who's picking the Gators over LSU. We didn't pick that game. We don't pick the games that I call, but it looks like Jaden Daniels is going to play, which is not good news for us because I think he should win the Heisman Trophy. I think he's the best player in football due to his running ability. And he's a really good thrower as well. But if he doesn't play, obviously that helps us. But I think we're going to score some points because their defense stinks. So it should be a shootout. I agree with whoever talked earlier about running the football and controlling the clock. That's what we do need to do. Daniel asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, Sean Kelly calling the game tonight, private jet to LSU tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if Sean, I want to say Sean, Kyle Crooks is probably calling that game is my guess. I don't think Sean will start Gator basketball road games until football's over, maybe. I guess we'll find out tonight when you tune in, or if he's on the plane, that means he's going to Baton Rouge. If not, maybe he is up in Virginia. He wouldn't be on a private jet, I can tell you that. He may be calling the game because we don't play until 7 or 6:30 Saturday night, which would be an easy connection from Charlotte to Baton Rouge. So Greg says there will be no punts in our game. That's a possibility as well. But I do think we need to run the football on these guys. And I don't say that, but we need to control the football to give us a chance to keep our defense on the sideline. I don't know what else to say. That's what we got to do. This Day in Sports brought to you by our good friends at not Comfort Tim, at Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. This one was interesting, if I can find it. Where did it go? Well, dadgummit, it went away. I'm having issues today with technology. So we'll just find a new one then. So this day in sports, in this is it right here. 1934. I meant to tell JC to listen to this since he's our so-called hockey expert. First NHL penalty shot was awarded to the Montreal Canadiens. I can't pronounce the Frenchman's name, but it was stopped by the Toronto goaltender in a Maple Leafs 2-1 win. So that the first penalty shot in the NHL was attempted in 1934 between the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs. That's This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Again, we appreciate all our veterans out there. I think tomorrow is actually Veterans Day. And I'm going to look into what Mike was talking about, the guys walking from Key West all the way to the state of Washington. That is crazy, crazy, crazy. We're talking about the Lou Groza Award semifinalist. Trey Smack is one of those guys. Good luck to him. I don't know who else is in contention. He's a really good kicker, though. John says Florida football will be done in 2 weeks. You never know. You may win a game you don't think you're going to win. That's why they tee it up and keep score. Alan on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, I heard we got a 7-foot center for basketball next year. Yes, the tallest teenager in the history of the world. He's from Canada, plays down at IMG. I do not know if it's for next year, maybe 2025. I also heard he may be reclassifying, so I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's just a verbal commitment. So we'll see what happens there. Van Der says, Shane, if Napier were to hire an OC, who would you like to see in that position? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know any OCs out there personally that I'm like dying to have. That's a good question, because trust me on this. If he were to hire an offensive coordinator, the fans are going to look at that offensive coordinator and bitch and complain if a play doesn't work or if they're not doing this or doing that. It happens everywhere, even with the greatest play callers in the world, because every play does not work. The reason is you may make a bad call. Your player, you may have a great call, but a guy gets beat, or a guy misses a throw, or a guy runs the route incorrectly, or the opposing team, which has scholarship athletes and they're coached as well, they just make a play and your play doesn't work. So I don't know. Greg says no OC questions, you are banned. So I don't know. I don't know if he is or not. Annie says the 7'6" kid is coming next year. Okay, he's supposed to be coming next year. We'll see. It's just a verbal commitment now. I don't know when basketball kids sign or not. But good week of college football, a lot of good games to watch. Obviously, Gator basketball tonight, and we'll recap it all on Monday. So hopefully the Gators can pull something off, play well, don't do anything dumb procedure-wise, and give us a chance to be in the football game. So if you're not watching it, tune in to Sean and myself and Tate Casey. We'd love for you to listen. But we appreciate y'all being a part of our program. And again, thank you to all the veterans out there. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday, folks. Take care.